So should be live on YouTube and on Facebook now. Any feedback you have, I'd love to hear it. I'll be putting more description around each of the guests that have been on, so you can find them on social media. You can see their businesses, give you a little bit more context about who they are, and so forth. So if you are interested in learning more about any of the guests, feel free to let me know, and I can give you the information, or you can just wait, right? Just wait a couple days, and I'll have all that stuff provided. Hang on 1 second. Technical difficulties. All right, let me make sure we've got the right link. Let me issues with the link. Hang on. All right, let me surround him. We have got Instagram message, and then let's do email. Boom. All right. Apologize for the delay. There he is. Yay. Hey, buddy.
How are you?
Good. We are live. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Mix up. We had a couple of technical difficulties over the last day, but how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm good. I'm not really sure what I got myself into, but I'm enjoying it. Yeah.
It's a great project.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun. Let's see. Let's start with PotanyPros, shall we?
Sure.
Tell me what you have going on and the why. Like what's going on with that?
So just as a 10-second recap, PotanyPros is a site where people can learn how to grow cannabis in states where it's legal to do so. You can grow it for recreational, medicinal purposes, and you learn from expert growers. You contract out to learn from them. So it's going really well. We've beta tested our system. We had we're about 95% ready to go with the automation.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's just getting the growers set up so that way the automation will work for them.
Yeah.
Insurance is done. All the legal stuff is done.
Yep.
So we're ready to rock and roll.
Yeah. Yeah. Full disclosure and full appreciation. You asked me to join you on the journey with PotanyPros, so I certainly appreciate that. One thing that has made this venture different is the complexity of getting started, right? So, like,
yes,
can you talk about all of this stuff? Like, there's just insurance and legal, and even like taking people's money is a lot harder than it should be. So, what have you learned so far in the process about all that?
So I've learned that if it were easy to do, everyone would be doing it.
Yes. Yeah.
I've also learned that patience is really a virtue, because this idea came about almost a year and a quarter ago, back in August of 2019. So, it takes time to build the business, especially when you've got we're wearing other hats. I've got other gigs and stuff like that. I couldn't devote. I'm not going to do what a lot of entrepreneurs do, which is to dive all in.
Yeah.
And risk it all. And I'm a little more smart about that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's I think COVID also threw a wrench into the process. What would take days took weeks, and what would take weeks actually took months, just to get things off the ground. But we're ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
So
you've been entrepreneuring for a while. Take us back to where and how it all started. When did you sort of recognize that you're an entrepreneur? What was the thing that you were working on at the time?
Sure. So it was at my old job, where I was given a lot more responsibilities, and I had asked for compensation for the work that I was doing, and I was basically told no. And I was also, the phrase that was used, which I'll never forget, is I need you. That's what my boss said. I need you to stay.
Yeah.
And to me, that was, it went against my philosophy that I learned from actually the owner of the gym that I go to, which is I want you here, but I don't need you here. There's a difference between want and need. Need means like you're completely dependent on me, but you're not willing to that you don't value me.
Yeah.
In any sense.
Yeah.
So, and that's when, I was already doing some side hustles, and, I was tutoring. I ran a tutoring business at least for 20 years, as a side. And so it was really like the opening of looking at LinkedIn and meeting people like you and other people that we met along the way. And also my wife, who said, you could do this full time. You don't have to.
Yeah.
And so that's when, July 1st of 2018 was when I quit my job and started entrepreneuring. So it's great, scary, and exciting, and it still is.
Yeah. So now that you're shifted into entrepreneur life, are you comfortable, confident, clear that that's the life for you? Or do you have any sense that you might go back and be a normal person?
I would really like to be a normal person, because I don't think I've ever been one. I would be willing to give up certain aspects. I think the biggest piece is that I would want, as long as I can say that I enjoy what I do, and I feel fulfilled, and I feel valued, and I would give up probably a good chunk of it. I think some of the items that I would keep would be the ones that would be completely automated that I could still have a role in.
Yeah.
But I've also learned that nothing is, you don't go to a job and stay there till you die. Things, and it's scary because we were taught that.
Yeah.
We were taught that that's what you do.
Yeah.
And it's not. So I always keep my options open.
Mhm.
I don't think I would go back full time.
Yeah.
Give it up. I think I would feel too restricted.
Yeah. That's similar to how I feel. So you've got a lot of things that you're working on. I think you and I are similar in that way, where there are interesting things that come up and you want to become a part of those things. That takes a lot of balance and priorities. How do you keep all of that stuff straight and organized and keep yourself sane?
So a couple of things. One is that I make sure that I physically exercise.
Mm-hmm.
That's one.
Yeah.
To release some stress. Two is that, as you can see, I'm in a bubble, so I'm literally in a tent with a heater right now. It's about 32 degrees up here in Massachusetts. So I'm outside, and I find that if I'm out here, even when the sun rises or when the sun sets,
Mm-hmm.
it makes a big difference versus being inside and not being able to see, have that feel of being outdoors. So that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
The third is using management tools, and I've switched from tool to tool because things change. So now I'm using a tool called Todoist.
Okay.
Just a simple, I was trying to do it by project and then by task. I'm like, I can keep the project straight. I just can't keep the tasks straight. So this is just literally a digital to-do list, and I can tag it to a project and I can check it off. And so now, I feel as though I have a lot more space in my head.
Yeah.
So it's great. That I use that a lot. I also use what you taught me, which is the 20-minute rule.
Oh yeah.
The live 20.
Thank you.
It makes a big difference. Even when I'm inside, I'm like, okay, I see the laundry. I'll spend 20 minutes doing the laundry, and I've made progress, and I can move on, and I'm not stressing out one way or the other.
Yeah.
So it's a big difference.
Yeah, I appreciate the shout out to.
That's it. I have a book. I have a signed copy, folks.
Well, yeah. So you can get yours too. Just let me know.
That's right.
You've been working with entrepreneurs for a while, mentoring, coaching, participating in startups. What do you see as some of the mistakes that entrepreneurs are making? That's a really general question. So when it comes to mind, I'd love to hear it.
I would say there are two areas, two camps, at least at what I've seen. One is like the kid in the candy shop, right? Where everything looks great.
Yeah.
Everything, let's go look this. Let's try this. Let's do this. Let's do that. Like, you gotta stay focused, but know that that's not, just because, one of the big things is to say, find your niche, find your market segment.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean find your market segment and stick with them for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Find your market segment and try it out for 3 months, 6 months.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Yeah.
Right? If it works, great. If it doesn't, you pivot. So I it's that, it's kind of like seeing the forest and the trees at the same time. You got to keep both in perspective, and it's hard. And the other piece is the hubrism that some entrepreneurs have, that they feel, well, I just do it all by myself. I'm like, total BS.
Yeah.
Nobody does it by themselves. Nobody.
Yeah.
You can't. You just can't. You are not the master of everything, and you need to find people. You'll find people that will believe in your mission and vision, and work.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. You got muted. Did I do that? There we go. Oh, sorry. There you
go. All right. You find people that are willing to work with you and roll up their sleeves, and you've got something more valuable than money. You've got time and resources from that individual, and people will do it. They'll give you their time. If they believe in your mission and in your vision, they'll do it.
I find it interesting that very few people have an ask ready, or they're willing to ask. Lee and I had a good conversation about that yesterday, about being available and vulnerable. Like, hey guys, I need help with this thing, and then putting yourself out there so you can attract people who are good enough at that thing to help you. What are some things that people can do to put themselves out there to attract the right kind of help, the right kind of mentorship, the right kind of advisor?
So I feel that, as you said, part of it is the risk of actually making the ask, right? Because the worst thing that happens is you're going to get a no, or they're going to say, "Oh yeah, I'm happy to help you. You give me $10,000, I'll work with you." And you're like, "I don't have it." So and that's not. You shouldn't be ashamed of it. That nobody starts out with $1 million right away.
Right.
The other piece is really building your network, and doing your research. So LinkedIn is great for that because it's professional, but all the other social media platforms are great with that. I think that if there are also platforms, one that you're creating right now, Squiddy, that basically connects people over projects, right? And if someone is willing to say, yeah, that sounds really interesting, let me find out more, right? So you as the CEO, as the entrepreneur, you have to be willing to have that conversation and take the time. And 30 minutes of your day is valuable, but if it results in somebody saying, yes, count me in, right? It's that makes it priceless.
Good. What have you? So let's talk about PotanyPros a little bit more. So what have you learned about taking that product and that brand to market on social? I mean, it's a bootstrap thing, right? Like we're not going out for VC dollars and check writers. This is a bootstrap thing. So what are you learning about getting that brand out on social media, building a following? What have you learned? Some of the challenges. What's been working? What's not working?
So the biggest challenge is, especially with the industry, is that you can't buy ads. Yet. You just can't. So what we would consider easy, like spending $300 or whatever it is, or $500 on ads on Facebook or wherever, you can't do that with Potany. You can't do it with cannabis. So you got to build the copy. It takes consistency. It also takes a lot of time. Well, the other piece is that it's finding your target audience, right? A lot of people get confused about, I found my tribe, right? So I'll find other people in the cannabis industry, which is helpful, but that's not who you're targeting, right? That's not your client. You're targeting people that want to buy your service, your product. So it's understanding, okay, where are those people and how to push their pressure points. What's going to be helpful for them.
That's interesting. I'm learning something similar in consumer brands in particular, that if you're using the hashtags and you're finding people that are in those groups, those people are just selling each other shit, right? Those aren't the people that you want to get in front of or sell to. Those are the people who are already talking about the thing, whether it's, I mean, I can go on and on about specifics, but like you're right. It's not just finding people in the industry, in the cannabis industry. It's the people that you're trying to get in front of. The people in the cannabis industry, they're all selling their own shit anyway. That's why they're using the hashtags. And I see it from coaches and consultants, like, hey, use these hashtags to get in front of the right people. No, you're just going to get in front of other coaches and consultants.
Exactly. So it's really it's targeting the consumer, who your ideal consumer is. And that's hard because and I think it's hard
people don't wear like on their profile, "Hey, I'm a consumer for cannabis," right? Like,
Right, exactly. They're not right. I smoke pot. That's
right. Yeah. Well, and that's a lot more difficult than if somebody enjoys camping or fishing or whatever.
exactly.
Not that difficult to figure that out if you do a little bit of research on that person or use, searches in Facebook if you can do ads. But you can't run ads on social media. You can't find people raising their hand necessarily saying, "I smoke pot, but I don't sell other stuff, so I'm a consumer only." Like, come find me. Like it's very difficult to do.
It's very difficult, and I think my theory is that the social media algorithms, they reach out to what you're interested in, so they connect you to people who are quote unquote in your same tribe, but don't necessarily target your audience who you're really trying to attract.
Yes.
So it's thinking about what would my client, what hashtags would come across my client's screen.
Yeah.
Right? What are they into?
Yeah.
Not what I'm into.
Yeah.
What are they into?
Yeah.
So that's where the marketing comes into play a little bit.
Love it. Awesome. Great. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. Time
Thank you.
flew by. Super interesting stuff. I'm my next conversation is with Karen DeMarco. So
cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump on to that one. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Me. We'll chat soon.
Sounds good. Take care.
See you, buddy.
Bye-bye.